In 2010, Nigeria's first female banking CEO was convicted of corporate fraud and sentenced to prison as part of a multi-million dollars corporate fraud. And this is the story of Oceanic Bank and Cecilia Ibro. Oceanic Bank was set up by the Ibro family in the 1980s. It was formed by Sir Michael Ibro when he got a banking license. And by 2000, the bank had a new CEO, Cecilia Ibro, who was Sir Michael's wife. And Cecilia Ibro was a brilliant banker. She worked really hard to grow Oceanic Bank to become a multi-billion dollar company. The bank grew to have many branches, lots of customers, and improved their technology. However, by December 2008, the bank was making a loss. Now, the bank had raked in losses of about 338 billion naira, and as of December 2009, the bank's losses was around 116 billion. When the new CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido, took over as the CBN governor in around 2009, he then launched an investigation into banks, and one of the banks that was investigated was Oceanic Bank. During the investigation, it was discovered that Oceanic Bank had a lot of non-performing loans, and that Cecilia Ibro had given out loans that were either above our approval limits or loans without collateral. It was discovered that about $20 million had been given to one company, Waves Limited. She was also accused of granting 2 billion naira credit facilities to Petrosan Farm Limited without adequate securities. After the forensic audit by the CBN, the EFCC got involved and took Cecilia Ibro to court. During these EFCC procedures, it was discovered that Cecilia Ibro had properties all over the world. I think she had over 100 properties. Now, these properties were seized by the federal government as part of the investigation. It was also discovered that there were things like nanny loans, whereby loans were given to family members without collateral and without the appropriate approval. After all of this, Cecilia Ibro was convicted to prison for 6 months. And why did this happen? Back then, the banking regulations were quite relaxed. There was something called life CEO, whereby once you are the CEO of a bank, you continue to be the CEO for as long as it took. So when all of this happened, the CBN then introduced new rules and regulations to strengthen the bank. Some of the things that happened afterwards was to reduce the lifetime of CEOs to a maximum of 10 years, which was not the case in the past. Another thing that the CBN then did was to inject capital into some of these banks that were failing so as to help them survive and safeguard customers' money. The Central Bank of Nigeria then set up asset management company, AMCON. Now, AMCON was set up to buy toxic loans from banks. Another thing this CBN did was to then do a bank tiering, whereby banks would then be categorized based on the capital that they had, and the banks were then made to go and do a capital raising exercise. Lots of banks got consolidated during the process, and Oceanic Bank was one of them. Oceanic Bank was eventually bought by EcoBank, and some of the toxic loans were taken up by AMCON. And this was a transformative period in the banking industry and one that shook the financial services to the core. As a result of this, the Financial Reporting Council in Nigeria also then introduced mandatory rotation for auditors, because one of the reasons why they felt some of the non-performing loans were not discovered or some of the shady deals were not discovered is because of the familiarity threats. Because the auditors had been auditing Oceanic Bank for a long time, it was assumed that familiarity threat was one of them. I hope you've learned some history from this. See you in the next video.